Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, as we have plenty of things to talk about here today on the show. Not only will we get into the latest of the Razorback football transfer portal, which is ever evolving, but definitely some things to discuss and get into with that. We'll also continue to talk about Razorback basketball, still coming off that big win against Tennessee, but turning the page, getting out against Ole Miss. We have some big fun things happening this week that, of course, we're going to tell you more about, and get to your chats and best and worst of the weekend, all of that fun stuff. But fellas, it's a Monday. Happy Monday. How are the vibes here to start the week?
Well, I've been talking to you guys. It's been a very eventful morning on my front, but the vibes are very high. This is a crazy day. It's a big day. Yeah, we got the portal going on, Arkansas basketball going on. That's all awesome. We're live right now. We're also on the radio right now with entirely different content. The Inside SEC basketball show starts tonight. We got a lot of stuff going on. We talk so much about how we're trying to expand this network and continue to grow and expand our reach and everything. We're really doing that today. We say it a lot, and we've been adding things, strategically here and there, but this is like a big boom kind of day for what we got going on Inside Arkansas. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's taken me about 28 years, but I've finally kind of mastered the art of not letting the things that happen with my sports teams affect my mood. I can still get happy and sad about it, but I don't let it affect my mood. So I'm not going to let anything that's going on in the transfer portal get me down. I will let myself get a little bit excited for Wednesday. Hope Arkansas doesn't slip on the banana peel, but excited about Arkansas basketball, really excited about what we have going on at Inside Arkansas and kind of expanding our reach like you mentioned. But no matter what, the vibe is going to be good. I'm going to be a happy camper on today's show, even though there are some good and bad things for us to get into.
Yeah, because that's kind of where it's at right now. And it's so funny, as I always want to say this. I said this on my Locked On. I'm going to say it on here. Folks, if you're not watching this live, just know that if something changes and you're watching this 5 hours from now and Arkansas's added guys from the portal, don't go into our comment section and be like, hey, you guys just completely missed this guy. Because it's an ever-changing, ever-evolving thing. That's why we try to do our best to go live whenever there's a big portal pop, keyword big portal pop. And we are going to continue to do that. And so we appreciate everybody tuning in with us and hanging out with us. And of course, it's going to be all of us, but Dudley as well getting involved, and he's being on top of it, doing a great job. So just be sure to tap in for it, because we're going to give the latest, and that's what we'll dive into here today, guys. I know we had a little bit of a portal pop here this morning. It felt like deja vu all over again. You start the morning off with a pop, and it's like, all right. So maybe this is it. The floodgates are going to open. And, well, then it didn't really actually open up, but you still were able to get a new addition. We talked about it, me, Andrew, and Dudley this morning, with Jamari Hawkins, the wide receiver from Memphis, coming to transfer in. And then you had just here recently, and again, we were saving this for Inside Arkansas Live, you got a new linebacker, Jaquavion Smith, who is a transfer from Howard. So, not anything against that. Not anything. You're not going to always get guys that come from major SEC schools and everything. But I think I talked to you guys about this before, and we talk about vibes. Where it stands right now at, what time is it anyways? 12:06 p.m. Central Standard Time. The portal, you're feeling on it. Like, you just be good, bad, and different. Like, what are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm glad you qualified it the way you are, because I'm trying not to get too caught up in the big picture stuff, because it's still very early. I just saw David actually gave me exactly what I wanted. Meh. I'm just a little bit meh right now with the vibe. I've seen more guys who are on the target list as I was excited about already commit elsewhere than Arkansas has gotten. I'm not necessarily displeased with what they've gotten so far. And I know there are a lot of dudes who have visited over this weekend that haven't made a decision yet. And I could feel a hell of a lot better about this in an hour or two even. But I'm waiting. Because we knew, like, they're going to add 30, 40 guys, something crazy, and not every one of them is going to be a superstar or a game changer or a difference maker. And that's right, based on what we've seen so far. Like this kid from Howard, it's one of those FCS deals where you're hoping that things translate to a much, much higher level football. We're not going to know. Like, it's going to be a wait and see deal. I like some of the things. I mean, he had 11 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. That's great. He chose Arkansas over Auburn, so another SEC school that was involved there. I like that. But what else are you going to do there? You know what I mean? Because now I'm thinking about the kid from North Carolina. I'm thinking about Everett Rousseau. I'm thinking about the Auburn linebacker. How many of those guys are you going to take? Is this a sign of maybe you've moved on from one of them or they moved on from you? Those are the things that we don't know yet. So I don't want to go too far into the weeds of trying to overanalyze it. But right now I'm just kind of like, okay, still in wait and see mode.
Yeah, for me, it's not even necessarily about any of the moves that they've made. Most of them are fine to me. Like, they don't really signal anything big picture that I should be concerned about. I even kind of like most of these players, and I think they have a chance to help. And I think in a nutshell, there's nothing wrong with it. But you mentioned that when the portal first opens up, that first day, there were like 25 guys that said they either had a visit scheduled with Arkansas, were in the mix with Arkansas, or were at least considering a visit to Arkansas. And I just put out a simple tweet where I was like, hey, I'm kind of encouraged, borderline pleased with how many people I see Arkansas connected to, some of which I think would be huge pickups that I'd be excited about. Most of those that I would have been really excited about have either committed elsewhere, canceled their visit with Arkansas, are no longer in that mix with Arkansas, or they're on a visit somewhere else, and we're waiting to see if they make it to Arkansas. So you go from, oh, man, there's a lot of intriguing possibilities to maybe there's not that many intriguing possibilities. You might have to go somewhere else. I don't think that bringing the Memphis guys over, I had no problem with that. We knew all along they were going to bring in some Memphis guys. I'm good with all that. But that's my big question with the linebacker here from Howard, who I do like, by the way. And I will say, I saw him listed at 205 pounds one place, but then I see him listed at 227 another place. That's an important discrepancy that I want to and I don't really care. I'm not saying size is everything, but I would like to know that as we learn more about this guy. But I'm hoping this doesn't mean they are no longer in the mix for the North Carolina guy, who I believe would be, one of the better linebackers in the portal, a top 100 type of guy, like a legitimate splash, so to speak. I hope that this isn't a sign that they're actually not going to get that.
See, and that's where I'm at too, to where I've said, I know we've talked about it many times. It's like, okay, let's see when the entire roster is finalized and we know what this entire roster looks like officially, then we can really dive into, all right, is this good? Is it not good? Is it going to be great? Is it not great? Do they have the money or not? Because listen, we could be sitting here being all, worried about certain things, but then here in literally 2 hours, it could be thrown on its head. So, there's a lot of that, but it's the small stuff. And I think you kind of alluded to it, Curtis. Like, for instance, Caden Hauser, the quarterback who was in the mix from what I understood and from my sources that told me, he was basically committed to Arkansas. Like, it was Arkansas from the jump. Arkansas wanted to be it. It was going to happen. And then it got cooled a little bit to where late last week, it started being like, well, now he's still interested in Arkansas. He's on a visit or whatever, but it's 50% or 50-50, whether it's Illinois or Arkansas. Part of it was what I was told is just that he wanted to have the starting position guaranteed to him, and Arkansas wasn't willing to do that. But then you see him going to Illinois. Now, is that some sort of huge whiff? Oh my goodness, it's crazy. I don't know, but it's like that on top of everything else just kind of is like, it's like when you're in on people and you're really high on people and it looks like it's a surefire thing. And then it's not here pretty quickly. You're kind of like, all right, so is that like, hey, did you just move on? Was it they offered more money? You're on edge as a Razorback fan, because let's be honest, even though people are buying into Ryan Silverfield, we're fans of Ryan Silverfield, we're buying into it. There's still a lot of fans who are just like, arms crossed, being like, I need to see something here. I need to see something. And until they see something, they're going to be very apprehensive to start buying into it. And I think that that's the point we're getting at, which again, could change any minute. Like we could see a thing where Carious Kern is no longer, he doesn't care about any of these other places he's coming to Arkansas. And then everyone's excited. But I just think Razorback fans are very on edge of just like, all right, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? Because this is really what's the most important thing about making our football program great again.
Yeah, for sure. And so with every, guy here that they don't get, was it the Florida State defensive lineman that we were excited about right when things opened up, and okay, cool, he's going to come visit. And then he's already, I think, Mississippi State maybe. Yep. But then it's like, okay, well, you didn't get him. How hard did you go after him? Were you just not, what was the circumstance there? Well, all right, fine. I'm not going to throw a fit about that, but who do you get? Hauser, I'm not going to, raise heck over not getting an East Carolina quarterback or something. But it's like, okay, you got to add some competition there. You got to add some talent, some experience there. Well, who's it going to be? So we just remain in wait and see mode on a lot of these things. And what do they have? Like 24 or some odd visitors over the course of the weekend. And I'm sure they're going to get more commitments from that. I'm anxious to see what the aftermath looks like. Do these guys, like Arkansas was getting second visits for certain dudes, who have committed when they were on their first. Well, are all these guys going to make it to their second visits, or are you going to get the ones that you want? And that's just the waiting game that we play right now. And it's pretty interesting already to see how it works out. And again, like, this is our first experience with Ryan Silverfield and this coaching staff and the way that they operate. And Andrew, you text me a couple times and you've been like, is Ryan Silverfield low key like the football version of Eric Musselman? They're just connected to everybody and you're trying to figure out who the top targets are or whatever. Who's it not? What are the smoke screens? Who are they really after? What do they want you to believe? What's really, really going on? So we just wait and see.
Yeah. And I know how we do as fans, where every single recruiting battle, so to speak, or every single decision that gets made, we try and make these big picture proclamations from it of, oh, we didn't get that guy. Oh, that means we whiffed and we don't have money and then we suck or whatever. And like you said, there's always, you can come back on the other end and actually have a plan B that's maybe a great plan B that ends up being a better situation for you. You never know. So you do kind of have to wait for this whole thing to play out. But I think what we can determine early on is there's definitely a different process for how this staff attacks the portal compared to last staff. Will the result be any different, though? That's where my skepticism comes in. Because I think if you were a Hog fan and you were going into this with the most optimistic mindset, your hope would be that this transfer cycle would be proof that Arkansas can really raise their talent level, can really have a class way better than they've had before, maybe back to on par with that 2022 portal class, that 2023 portal class, where you're really getting some actual guys like a Drew Sanders, some guys from Georgia, like legitimate stuff. I don't think that's happening. And will they end up getting some good guys from this class? I have no doubt they will. I have no doubt they're going to pony up and make some splashes here and there, but will it really address all the needs that they have? That I'm worried about. Will it really raise their level of talent in the SEC and make them more competitive with their peers? I'm skeptical on that front. And will it be proof that they have all this money, which I hate to bring back Hunter Yurachek, but he did say you would know how much money we have based on the coaching staff and based on what we do in the portal. We got a little bit with the coaching staff where they have a lengthy staff. I don't know if it was necessarily super definitive. We'll see if they end up top half of the SEC. I don't think they're going to end up top half of the SEC in terms of the portal class. And I don't think they're going to be top half of the SEC in terms of just roster spending, roster talent, all of the above. I would love for them to go out there and prove me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to talk about something else that happened that was late last night. Kind of confused some people, but we're going to do that here in just a second. But want to remind everybody that SARACEN is one of our great sponsors here at Inside Arkansas. In fact, they're so great. They have a deal exclusive just for you and all of you Inside Arkansas listeners. We know that we were talking about for a long time, hey, if you download the app by clicking the link below in the description or scan that QR code, when you bet $25, you get $125, right? Yeah, that was awesome. How about this? How about betting $25 and getting $250? That's right. It's the same exact process. You click the link below, you scan that QR code, and when you go and download the app, be sure to use code INSIDEAR250. That's INSIDEAR250. Because when you use that code, when you bet your first $25, you get $250. So as great of a deal as it was before, now it's been doubled. So you get an even better deal with the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. It's SARACEN. So download it today. Lots of specials, a lot of great things going on with it. So be sure to check it out. Again, Arkansas's #1 sports wagering app. It's SARACEN. So guys, last night, I should say actually yesterday, let's kind of put the timeline together. Yesterday, there was a few portal pops that happened. And one of the ones, it was mainly special teams. Hey, you got you a long snapper. Shout out to Ashton No. Wish he could come back, but they got a new long snapper. Okay, then they got a kickoff specialist, with Braden McAllister, transfer from Georgia State. You're like, all right, that's pretty cool. You got to have that. But then Max Gilbert signs with Arkansas, not commits, signs, and you're like, what? The starting kicker from Tennessee the past 2 seasons, who went 14 of 19 this past year. Wait, hold on a second. You got Scott Starzik, your freshman kicker, who went 14 of 18 last year, announced that he was coming back. And then you sign this guy. Do we really need this many kickers? It was kind of confusing. And then late last night, like literally close to midnight, Scott Starzik announces that he's entering into the transfer portal. So listen, you know that we know that this happens a lot where players are asked, you call it processed, or maybe they get a better deal. Like, I don't know all the circumstances. We may have some ideas and everything, but what'd you guys make of this situation where Starzik's like, I'm coming back, and then they sign this guy, and then later in the day he's like, I'm not coming back, I'm entering the portal.
Yeah, anytime you announce you're coming back and then you wind up leaving, a business decision was made, and that could come from either party. You know what I mean? And sometimes it could be mutual. So there are a lot of different ways that this could have potentially gone. But I do know that as soon as we saw that Tennessee guy came on board, I text you two guys and Dudley and said, Starzik's out of here. Like, just stay tuned. It's going to happen, because if he was coming back, he wasn't coming back to have, an SEC starter come and compete with him. And I just don't feel like this Tennessee guy was going to come and leave a starting job with, frankly, a better program to come compete for the job here at Arkansas. It just didn't make sense. So now, was Starzik blindsided by that? Did he already know? And so the staff was out in front of it, and they had their guy lined up. I don't know, but this is an interesting deal. I like Starzik. I thought he had a solid freshman season, and I was all for having him back. I think that he liked it here as well. You never know. It's one of those things that happens, man, when there's coaching staff turnover, and there might be a big difference in philosophy between Scott Fountain and the special team coaches that Arkansas has now. So there's a million different reasons why it could happen. Yes, some of it could be financial for sure. And there you are. All I'm going to say here is that I wish Starzik the best. I'll be anxious to see where he winds up. I am at least, encouraged that he has been replaced by a guy who has started and had success in the SEC. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, before I say anything on this, I do want to make it clear, I don't really care that much about Arkansas's kicking situation. And that's not to say that it's not important and that you don't need a kicker and all that. I am not going to take this situation and make it a sign of how the roster is going to shape up, how this coaching staff operates or whatever. And I certainly don't think anybody should be like panicking over this, because I just don't think it's that big of a deal in the long run, honestly, whether you have the Tennessee kicker or Starzik or whoever. And look, I'm sure Starzik's going to have a great career, and we will maybe look back and be like, man, we should have really kept that guy on. But my thing that I think, because it's a little bit of a he said, she said type of thing going on here, based on just what we're hearing from all sides here. I think the thing is, the coaching staff at Arkansas did not seem to believe that Scott Starzik was all in and that he was ready to come back and kick for Arkansas, and he was dead set on it, and that's all he wanted to do. And like you mentioned, that you don't go out and get an SEC kicker if you don't. If you think you have Scott Starzik and you're for sure that he's your kicker, you don't go out and get a guy from Tennessee. So I think that tells you how the coaching staff felt. Now, Starzik can disagree with that and say, no, I was all in. I was all good. Well, then it's like, well, then what got lost in translation here? Because clearly there was a miscommunication somewhere. And listen, I have no doubt Scott Starzik has a lot of offers. I have no doubt that there were schools probably offering Starzik a decent amount of money. He had a really good freshman year, was one of the more highly touted kickers in the country. So it's like, there's no shame in that, but it's like, you can't really have your cake and eat it too. You can't be all in and then also be like, hey, but also I have all these offers from other schools. Those are irrelevant if you're a hog.
Yeah. And see, that's my thing, where it could be a number of circumstances. It could be something like, hey, Starzik was offered more money at some other place in Arkansas, wasn't just going to up the bag. It could be something like that. I don't know, but it is just a deal to where it's like, not to say you're getting the exact same kicker, but statistically speaking, they're pretty close. As far as what they did this past year. And if you were able to keep them on, and Chad Lunsford, which we all know I'm a huge fan of, and everything, and I assume he was probably the one that was in on this and handling it. I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, there must have been something that was there with this Tennessee kicker that maybe he liked a little bit more. Maybe there was a built-in relationship. Maybe they got him cheaper. It could be anything that ended up happening there. But, it's one of those deals to where, as you said, Andrew, caring about the kicking, because I'm in the same boat. But it's also one of those things that 3 games in, if this Max Gilbert guy misses a field goal, and they look over at Scott Starzik, if he's at just throw a school out there, Arizona State, and he's 3 for 3, and this other guy's 2 for 3. They're should have kept him. It's just always going to be that way. But it was just, again, it's not like the biggest deal in the world, as you said, but it is just fascinating because It's like, you know what it reminded me of, Curtis? Not the same exact thing, but remember when all those players under Muss were like, I'm coming back, and here's I'm riding a horse, and there was no social media post about it. You're like, are you though? Are you actually like coming back? Are you actually like, they want you back? And then later it's like, I have officially entered into the portal. It's like, yeah, that's one of those things that just reminds like, I'm back. Are you though? Because you didn't get a graphic.
They did my man Darian Ford dirty, man. It's crazy. They really did my man Barry Dunning dirty. Look at him now, you know?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, look at him now. Yeah. Hey, I will say, because it seems like there was a paperwork issue here where, there was, and by the way, I don't even know if you're on the team and you're not going to leave the team, what do you have to sign? And I guess it may be like just an NIL agreement, maybe just a I'm not going to leave agreement, but certainly didn't take long for that transfer portal paperwork to get done.
Nope.
Yeah, interesting.
That got done real quick. And so, listen, we don't really know what happened here, but I don't think people should be taking this and freaking out over it. Even if you do think Starzik's better than the kid, which is an easier argument to make. Like, I can hear that. I don't think this is like a sign that London is falling.
No,
I got something for you real quick. Just because before we get too far removed from our little side argument there, Barry Dunning averaging 12.5 points, 5 rebounds at Pitt in the ACC this year.
Hey, there you go.
It's good for him. All right, carry on.
I literally thought he was done with basketball in college, but just, again, everybody just continues to play. He's probably one of those guys paying his alimony with a beard, like Cal's always talking about. So yeah, but it's still fascinating because I want to bring up also something too when it comes to the one player. There's a few players, but one player with Carious Kern and the update on him. I know a lot of people are wanting to know about that. We'll get into that here in a second, but want to remind everybody, Blue Ember Smokehouse is a great sponsor of us here on Inside Arkansas, not just a sponsor of Inside Arkansas Live and Pod at the Palace and everything, but also official sponsors of the Pod at the Palace post-game show. So we are really happy and excited to bring them on for that. But guess what? Wednesday, 2 days from right now, we are going to be live from the Blue Ember Smokehouse in Rogers on Pleasant Grove Road. It's always so much fun to go out and be on location to do shows, but there's just something special about when us three can get together and dine together for a great lunch surrounded by great barbecue and sides and the smell of smokehouses coming into our clothing. There's just something uniquely special about it. So come hang out with us on Wednesday from 12 to 2. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking Hogs, talking about Razorback basketball, getting ready for the Ole Miss game that night, and also talking about the latest in the portal and eating some food. We won't do it during on the air, though, because we're professionals, obviously. But it's going to be so much fun to be there. So come hang out with us. We'll have some giveaways. We'll have some fun talk, and it's going to be awesome. But also remember, folks, that if you can't make it, then that's okay, because they also cater all the different events you could possibly want. And they have locations across the entire state of Arkansas, not just in Rogers, but also in Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, as well as Hot Springs. So give them a call today for all of your catering needs. It's Blue Ember Smokehouse here in Arkansas.
John.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about not eating on camera at Blue Ember, do you recall the stipulations that I laid out about eating that tall ice cream cone at Blue Ember? I know it involved beating Tennessee, but there was like a point total attached, like beating James Madison by so much. There was something there. I said, if Arkansas does that and beats Tennessee, I'll eat the foot-long ice cream cone on camera. I don't remember what it was. I'm going to have to go back and look.
I thought it was by 30. Now, I could be wrong, beating James Madison by 30. But do you remember which show? Because we'll get our research team on it.
I think it would have been the Monday before, like that Inside Arkansas Live before the James Madison show.
Yeah.
Or back to James Madison game.
Cameron, get on it. All right.
You gotta know, dude.
Yeah. No, just if you find it, because we do. Because we all want to see Curtis eat a foot long ice cream cone on the air. So we got to make sure, but we don't want to do it if he said 30 points or 35 points or something, end up not being the case.
I'm a man of my word.
So. That's right. We want to hold it to it. But either way, it's gonna be fun. May not eat a whole thing of ice cream there on camera, but there will be some food eaten there on that as well. So can't wait to see how that all plays out. But either way, real quick, because I know we'll have some of your chats, folks. Best and worst of the weekend, also some basketball talk. But everyone's wanting to know about Carious Kern. Yes, the whole thing, like, guys, what was it, the LSU thing? Like, his holding his paperwork. Do you think that was, not to say that he was in the wrong or whatever, but it's like when you take to social media and you say something like that, maybe that's applying pressure. Maybe that's like saying, are they trying to do this? Is like Lane Kiffin trying to do it? Is it more just like a process taking longer? I don't know. I just find it really fascinating when you see things like that. And the fact that it just so happens to be like a really good player, one of the better players in the portal that it happens to. I doubt that they would go through those issues if it was like, the backup center. You know, I think that it maybe had some. Did you guys make anything of that with Carious Kern talking about his paperwork being held?
Yeah, weird deal. I don't know why he would put that out there if it wasn't true, but at the same time, I don't know why I mean, several of their guys entered the portal and good players without any incident there. So maybe it was just a clerical error. I don't know, but that was a really weird deal to follow there. That I guess it impacted one of his visits, right? Was it Georgia?
Yep.
Who then did not reschedule a visit, by the way. And I'm not saying that Georgia saw that and was like, oh yeah, we're not interested. But the timing wise, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing, and like you said, I don't think he would put that out there if he didn't feel that way and he didn't think something happened. But I also have a hard time believing that anyone at LSU, Lane Kiffin or anyone on the staff, is purposely withholding paperwork and not letting these guys enter the portal, because I just don't see why they would do that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't either. But then at the same time, we are talking about Lane Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin I could see him just doing a little bit of trolling thing. Not saying this is what happened. I'm not saying this is what happened. Just saying I could see it where he was like, "Oh, you're taking a visit to Georgia? No. I don't want you going to Georgia because it's if you want to take your visits to Arkansas or something, fine, yeah, go right ahead. But Georgia, no. I'm gonna. Oh man, I did not get my email. I must check your spam folder. It's like I could see something like that happening. But if it was somebody else, I probably wouldn't. But just Lane Kiffin, not saying he's a terrible human being or anything, but we know how he loves to do some trolling acts is all it is.
He definitely does the trolling acts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put anything past that man, honestly.
No. I wouldn't either. My only thing is that, like, it's not that hard to get caught doing this. So it's like, if they're going to do something like that, they would have to know people are going to find out about it. And I just have a hard time believing they care that much about Carious Kern. I know he's a great player. He would obviously be a crown jewel for us. I can't imagine that the new LSU coaching staff is like, hey, this freshman right tackle that had a 52 PFF grade, we got to make sure he doesn't leave. I don't think that's what happened.
Yeah. And Lane Kiffin doesn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
Those kids can go to compliance and say, hey, I need you to file my transfer, and they don't even have to notify the coach. So I don't know.
I just want to assume
maybe he does hot yoga with the compliance lady, and he's like, hey, if you see this name come through, just delay it for 24 hours.
Yeah. Let him go to Arkansas, but don't let him go to Ole Miss.
Yes. Whatever it takes. But the latest for him, though, folks, is just as far as his visits go. We know that he's got quite a few of them, but he's going to have an Arkansas visit. He's here. Well, he's at Ole Miss today, which is kind of what we talked about, Andrew, with Dudley. Yeah. We talked about with Dudley this morning. I'm like, yeah, you talk about some excitement that they could probably sell him on currently. Just be like, oh, yeah, come on in. Yeah, we're getting packed for the college football playoff semifinals. I don't know if you knew this. Oh, the other places you visit, are they in it? No, I don't see them in it. We're the only ones. So they definitely have a good amount to offer. But he is visiting there right now. He's going to be at Arkansas January 6th and then at Missouri on January 7th. And then according to Pete Nakos, it says January 8th, he is going to be at Georgia. Doesn't mean that's for sure where he's going to be, but either way, that's the latest. So basically you have some competition to put it mildly. And you're right there as the middle child in the visits. I want Carious Kern. I think if you got him, it would be a huge get for Arkansas. We all know that. But it's just one of those things when you go up against the big boys, you're like, all right, is this real? Are you going to be able to sell them on it? Because, again, it's like you're talking about Georgia and Ole Miss and he's leaving LSU. There's going to be you're going to have to really bring your A game to try to lure him from those other places to come back to Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm. I hope this is not a Khalil Ware situation, like you lost him the first time, he becomes available again. You're like, oh, sure. He's learned the error of his ways leaving the state. Now you'll get it. Nope. Just kidding. Not happening. I hope that's not what's happening here. Yeah.
And by the way, anyone who's asking for like updates, he's like literally having lunch with Pete Golding right now. So it's like, it's going to be tough for us to provide updates until we know if he makes it to Fayetteville, that will be a notable update. That will be like when we kind of like, okay, we're still in this thing. We got a shot. I think there's no doubt about it. And I would be interested to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Like, if you're Carious Kern, put yourself in his shoes, you would have to require like more money to go to Arkansas, right? Like if you have an offer on the table from Georgia for, let's say, $500,000. Let's say that's what Georgia offers them, and Ole Miss offers them $600,000. I would need probably at least 750 to go to Arkansas, right? Like, yeah, I mean, not to say that Arkansas is not a place he wants to go, but they have the least amount of leverage here. I would think that you would probably, and I think the Arkansas coaching staff needs to understand that of like, hey, you're not just going to be able to like put the same offer on the table and hope he chooses your program over theirs. Like, you have to give him a reason, and you have to take calculated risks in the portal. Maybe they will look at Carious Kern and say, hey, that's not the right risk we want to take, but there are times where you do have to make a big splash. You do have to kind of overspend depending on how badly they feel they need him. I think this is one you maybe overspend for.
Yeah, you can't assume a hometown discount for a guy who left the hometown once already. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too. I think that that's kind of the unfortunate thing, if you want to look at it that way, for Arkansas, is that we know that the money, don't know if it's there. But we know that if you are going to get some of these big time players, because of your circumstance and your situation, you're going to have to overpay for some of them. It's just the reality that you're in. And if you're unwilling to do that, then you may get left behind a little bit. But I'm with you. And I think that it's a matter of, what can you offer? Because every player, I know this, I was getting in an argument with somebody last night. Say everybody believes, okay, well, it's just whoever pays the most. That's just where they're going to go. Okay, there's a lot of elements to that, but these are still kids that want to go to the next level and play in the NFL. Like Carious Kern wants to go to a place that, yes, can he make some good money, 750, whatever it is, sure. But what his real goal is to make tens, hundreds of millions of dollars in the NFL. Like that's the goal. And that's going to play a thing into his decision making of, all right, well, I'm going to make this money. At least I hope it does. I'm making this money for a little bit, but who's going to get me to the NFL? Who's going to put me in a position to make me ready to get to that point? Like who can help me out with that? That to me is the key element in all of this, which I think gets lost in translation a little bit sometimes because people get so wrapped up in NIL and payment, which is important. But this caliber of player is somebody that's got to get NFL ready. And, he's going to play this year and then he's got one more year. And then he's out of here. Like I saw, I think one of the scouts compared him to a Jason Peters, which last time I checked, that guy played like 28 years in the NFL. I still don't know how he was doing it, but I just say, like, to your point though, Andrew, yes, I agree. They got to overpay, but you also, if you're going to overpay for him, you also got to sell him on, hey, this is the steps we're going to get you to the next level on. And if you come here, you can get to the NFL and be a high draft pick.
Well, I don't know what the O-line situation looks like, to be honest with you, at Ole Miss or Georgia for the next 2 years. But I would imagine, I had to guess, Arkansas doesn't have really any tackles that would definitively start over Carious Kern. That might be part of your selling point, too, is like, hey, you want to play in the NFL, you want to play at a high level, come here and play. You might start at Georgia. You might have to like be in a battle with a 5-star, another big-time talented kid. Come to Arkansas, you're going to play for sure. You're going to be in your home state, and you're going to make more money. That would be a decent pitch, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that they got it going on. We'll know here soon. Because that's the thing is, it's 2 weeks roughly for the portal being open. And it seems like it's a good while, but man, this is going to move quick. A lot of these players are moving quick. That's why he's doing back-to-back visits and traveling all over the place. And who knows, if he does, it'd be the coolest thing. It's not going to happen. It'd be really cool if he didn't even take those other visits, because he goes to Arkansas and he's like, this is home. I got, and here's another thing too. John Calipari. Like, go talk to these kids, man. You just show up and just talk to them. Because I'm pulling out all the big guns. Like, you can get all these people and all that. I don't care if you're football or not. John Calipari comes and talks to you, just says hi, asks about the family. What do you like to eat? That's a huge selling point for me.
And let me tell you something, son. You have a beard. It looks like you may have children. You transferred twice. I don't want you on my team, but you need to play for Ryan Silverfield. Woo pig.
I would love that so much. I would just love, again, fly on the wall just to hear that conversation of everything. But that's, say what you want. And I know Cal is the example that you have right now, but if you're, especially if a new coach like a Silverfield who's new in there, man, get anybody and everybody you think would be a cool person to meet. Get John Daly, get Jerry Jones, get Bill Clinton. I don't care. Just get people of note that you think and now we have to talk about like recruiting and be like, here's why you need to come to Arkansas. Just shake hands and be like, man, this is cool. How awesome it would be. I get to hang out with John Daly. I get to, Jerry Jones. Last time I checked, he's an NFL guy. Like, just do all the things you can, pull out all the stops for the big boys. Even if it's a Zoom call, do that, something. make it happen. But
love the Zoom. Imagine getting a FaceTime from Cal or something though, just randomly. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be.
Well, it sucks that he's going to be out of town for the next. He'll be out of town for most of this week, right?
Yeah.
They're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll get back late Wednesday night.
And he'll be
out of town Friday.
True.
Hey, listen, he can do whatever he wants. Kenny Payne's got it. He can handle it until he can arrive right before tip.
Let Kenny Payne coach the Ole Miss game so that Cal can recruit for football.
Yes, that would be some classic Cal stuff right there. By the way, real quick side note: our intern producer Cameron, he has found the evidence. Curtis, he says he found it with 11 minutes and 55 seconds into the show on December 29th. It says if Arkansas beats James Madison by 30 plus and they beat Tennessee on Saturday, I'll eat the ice cream cone with Blue Ember on the stream.
Did they beat James Madison? Did they win by 30?
No, they won by 29.
Oh, hey, there you go. You're safe.
That's crazy. That's a bad beat right there. That's what we call bad beats, boys.
Let's go. Now I'll just have it off the air.
There you go. Shout out appreciate you, Cameron. Thanks for coming.
Good work.
So now we know. All right. So we'll get into your chats, folks. On to discussion when it comes to everything going on in the sports world. But I want to remind everybody that the Drain Masters of Arkansas is going to have you covered for any of your plumbing or drain cleaning needs here in 2026, because we know that there's nothing more difficult than having to deal with something that's clogged. You're having to take a shower in sitting water. It's disgusting. Or you're having to deal with any sort of appliances that aren't draining the way that they should be. That's rough. Or if it's a business, you have some issues there. You don't know what to do, so don't worry about it. Have the masters, the Drain Masters of Arkansas, have you taken care of and have you covered. They service the entire state of Arkansas as well as Oklahoma and beyond with that professional and reliable service. So if you need to request a service today, give them a call at 479-646-5585. It's our guy, Jacob. Give him a call, 479-646-5585. Or you can scan that QR code right there on your screen, and it'll take you right to their website to where you can book an appointment that way too. And when you do, be sure to tell them that Inside Arkansas sent you. That's right. Be sure to say Inside Arkansas sent you, because when you do, 10% off all their services. Doesn't matter how big of a job, doesn't matter how much they're going to have to do. They have to put the entire plumbing service into a whole new level. That's okay, because you said Inside Arkansas sent me, 10% off. It's as simple as that. Anything and everything plumbing related, no job is too big or too small. Have the Drain Masters of Arkansas have you covered here in the state of Arkansas. So what's up, Andrew?
Can I interest you guys in a quarterback transfer with multiple years of experience in the SEC, has started several games. I think about 7 or 8 starts under his belt. He's been a backup to some other older quarterbacks, played underneath some pretty good play callers as well. And he is now in the portal looking for his 3rd SEC school.
TJ Flinley, I don't want him.
Can I interest you boys in a quarterback by the name of Michael Van Buren, who is now entered the transfer portal?
Oh, yes, you can.
Yes.
I've always loved Michael Van Buren. I low key, I
thought Mississippi State should have kept him.
Me too. Me too. Shapen was fine for them this past year. He was okay, but I thought he looked really good as a freshman, and then spent a year in the worst offense in the country at LSU this past year. So I don't think his work this past year just doesn't count, in my opinion. Bring in Michael Van Buren for a little KJ competition.
I would take Van Buren for sure.
1,000%. 1,000%. Let me ask you guys this to the point. This is just a shot in the dark. We could have Bet SARACEN put some odds on it, but if you were a betting man, which I know you are, would you bet on Arkansas? Would you bet on KJ Jackson or the field to be the starting quarterback for Arkansas next season?
KJ Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have really thought about this if you'd asked this 3 days ago. Now I'd say he's minus 200.
If the field was an option, they probably would have got Hauser.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we'll see, but that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. By the way, Dudley just also tweeted this out. Just so good. We'll quick updates, but Penn wide receiver Jared Richardson, he was All-American, finished with over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and everything. He was set to have a scheduled visit with Arkansas. Well, he is now committed to Duke. So just wanted to throw that along and everything.
I got to be honest with you. Penn to Duke makes a lot more sense than Penn to Arkansas.
Yes.
He's good. He was good, though. He was one of those that I was kind of excited about, but,
They better drop the bag for that Simmons kid from Auburn now.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Do we know do we have dates on his visit? or what? Because I think it was Arkansas and someone else.
Have to
And I
go
feel like
and
I don't remember if we got dates or if they just said he's planning to visit.
well, we know Dudley had he gave us he sent us a big long visit deal. So let's see. I don't think I know he was visiting this past Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So that makes that. And the fact that they announced the commitment of a wide receiver that is not him today doesn't make me feel great, if I'm being honest with you.
Yep. That's kind of again, this is where it all comes into play of like good feelings and bad feelings, good vibes and bad vibes of where you're at. So have you guys again, it's not the no all end all be all, but I did check out the college football team transfer portal rankings according to On3, because they do an index where they do the On3 performance score to measure the team's production during the transfer process compared to relative against its roster, and not comparison to against any other schools. The proprietary algorithm determines if a school has improved its overall talent, stayed the same, or declined in talent during the transfer window. So if you want to just take that into consideration, Arkansas, where it lands right now, is ninth in the transfer portal rankings.
In the country?
Yeah.
I guess just because they haven't really lost many people and they've just added 5 or 6 guys.
I feel like they've added more than most at this point.
Yeah, it's like sheer quantity of you got a long snapper and 2 kickers.
Yeah.
Right.
That alone is more than a lot of people. So, I mean.
Well, yeah. And that's like kind of the thing, too, of like, you think that the offensive lineman that they added, Malachi Breland, like a guy that started a lot for Memphis. Yeah. You think about the guy from Cincinnati, the wide receiver or the defensive back, started and played a lot. So it's like you said, it's a lot. It's a good amount of numbers, but you're getting guys that actually played. The quality is there over the quantity. But Arkansas, man, see, I jinxed it. Arkansas just now moved down to 10th. As I was speaking. Dang it.
Update it, John.
Yeah, he's still top 10. Still top 10. That's really what matters. But Indiana's leading the way by far. Like killing it. Them and Texas Tech just destroying everybody.
They had a flurry the other day where like they rattled off like 3 commits in an hour or something like that.
Sig is getting after it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you want to know, like, this is what's crazy. And again, I get they're still in the title hunt. So they haven't had they've only had one person transfer out. So it makes sense because even the backups want that ring. But they've had 7 get added, which is there. But the crazy one is Texas Tech, guys. Texas Tech, they've lost 17 players to the portal, but the average rating was 64. They've added 9, which is at an 80. So basically, it's like they have upgraded there too. So
did they get which quarterback did they just get?
Levitt, wasn't it?
Cincinnati
Sorsby. You're right, okay. Sorsby.
Yeah.
And then Levitt he went to Kentucky. Now he's at LSU. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Indiana got Hoover. Is that done? The TCU kid?
By the way, Hoover's better than Levitt. I'll just tell you that right now.
I think so too.
I think LSU is going to have buyer's remorse if they get Levitt, and I'm hoping they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not to say it's going to be a hot take, but not speaking about LSU, but guys, I don't know. I just have this feeling that Lane Kiffin at LSU is going to be good, but I just don't know if he's going to do what. Like, is he going to be is he going to have a better record than, averaging 9 or 10 wins a year, which he will. I mean, he'll be great, but I don't know. Is he
going to be better than the semifinals of the college football playoff? Yes. Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be crazy. Imagine them winning the championship, which would be disgusting. But then it's like he gets to still reap all the rewards financially from it all. Like, do you think he gets a ring? Does he get a ring if they win the title?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He'll have his own made if he wants to. So,
and
he'll wear it at that game when they go to Oxford.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do a ceremony and give it to him.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, like the NBA guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that would go over real well with the home crowd there in Oxford. I'm sure it would. So, man. It's, again, I just hope whatever causes the most chaos and is the funniest thing is what I am always for. And that's what I'm always in favor of. So
Lane Kiffin is definitely the dude who will go back to Oxford and treat it like Cal going back to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. It's like he was the mayor of the town or something, that he was there he did all these great things for him, and it's not going to go well for the guy. I can't wait to see it though.
Yeah. I just wonder, because Cal talks about like, oh, I went to these things at Kentucky and all that. I wonder if, Kiffin's going to be like, I guess going to the college football playoff semifinal wasn't good enough for him, as if he was like coaching them and he was there. It's like, yeah, I guess they were just mad at me for doing that. Sorry. Like, he's going to do that. Just as long as they don't throw any golf balls or mustard bottles or whatever it was at Tennessee. He could be a first coach ever in history, guys, that has 2 different fan bases throw items at him when he goes back to those
Well,
places.
dude, I was gonna say, I was like, we've done this with him a lot. Because I remember when he was the OC for Saban, and they went to Tennessee, and it was like this whole thing, and we did that whole game, and it's like now, when he goes to Bama, they hate him there. It's like we're running out of fan bases to hate Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. That's for sure. So, again, we'll get to your chats, folks. Really appreciate everybody tuning in with us. But I want to remind everybody, Hickey and Hole Law is the official law firm of us here at Inside Arkansas. If you ever need any legal advice, no matter what it is, especially when it comes to those divorce and custody cases, Hickey and Hall is going to have you covered, because those things are extremely important. When you're dealing with family, when you're dealing with things that are extremely important to you, they want to make it important to them as well. And that's why they build that attorney-client relationship that's always going to be built on honesty and trust with each and every one of you. And they're going to walk you through the entire process. I know that there may be some times where you don't really know what's going on, or maybe there's some things that you may not realize, some little details. You don't want to miss out on them. Don't handle it alone. Have Hickey and Hole Law cover you in all the bases when it comes to that legal advice. And luckily for you, they have offices all across the state of Arkansas. So you can give them a call today. Try to give them a call today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhole.com. It's Hickey and Hole Law. Things are about to get better. And real quick, guys, before we get to the chat, and I know we'll have some best worst of the weekend, some basketball to talk about as well, but some updates on a few that since we last been able to chat. But Ian Gerfard is transferring to Texas. So there's that. And then, Danny Saili. Andrew, a lot of people were commenting to me about your post about it. So
they got it.
They got it.
Okay.
Well,
I didn't get it, but I got it.
I didn't put a caption on it or anything. It's just a video of Big X the Plug running around, man.
Yeah. But it was well received, I would say. But they got that. Also, Danny Saili is entered into the transfer portal. Nothing too crazy there. You've had a lot of subtractions, and that's what's kind of funny in this situation where you're like, you want to keep certain guys, and you don't want, maybe some certain guys you don't want to see go, but you did go 2-10 last year. So it's like,
this time a year ago, it was like almost every guy that hit the portal, we were like, dang, kind of wish they would have kept him. Would have been nice to have him around and add on to it or whatever. Yeah, this year we're just kind of like, okay, good luck.
Well, do you remember people did the same bit where they were like, oh, it's a 6-6 team. We don't want to go 6-6. Get all these players out of here. And it was like, okay, Isaiah Satania, we can't keep him. Like, geez. But no, I'm with you. I will say, I mentioned quantity. I just don't see Arkansas connected to that many defensive linemen these days, especially because the ones that we liked have now gone elsewhere. I'm like, we might be running into the same issue where Arkansas has 4 scholarship defensive linemen that they trust.
Yeah, because I guess the only one I see, at least I have in my really up-to-date, very accurate transfer portal tracker, is Melvin Hills, the Texas defensive line transfer. He's visiting Arkansas.
It's like a redshirt freshman or something.
Yeah. He's visiting Arkansas, North Texas, and UNLV. So
you got to win that one. Like, genuinely, like, I know that's and that's not going to be a commit that gets the fan base riled up. But dude, you just need the body, man. You need it.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and also too, apparently Marcus Woodson, who got hired up at Kansas State, just wanting to get the gang back together because was it Nico Davia and was it Miguel Mitchell that also went up there to Kansas State? So look at that. So some good stuff there for all the transfers and all that stuff. I was going to bring up the basketball topic, Curse, but I didn't want to take it in case it was your best of the weekend. But I didn't know what it was. But I was just going to say,
ahead, I can adapt.
Okay, good. But I did want to give a shout out to a particular player that last time I checked, he was pretty good, and we know that he was pretty good. Well, he's getting the award and acknowledgments for it. Darius Acuff was named your Naismith Player of the Week, represented by Jersey Mike's. But again, when you have the performances that he's putting together, especially that one against Tennessee that everyone was talking about, the accomplishments are coming in. But shout out to him and congrats to him for being the Naismith Player of the Week, not co-player, not none of that nonsense. The Naismith Player of the Week, big time for Darius Acuff.
Yeah, well deserved, man. He was super good in both of those games, and to put 29 on anybody as a freshman, and especially any SEC opponent, but for it to be your debut in the league against a team like Tennessee, that's nasty work. He looked really good in there. They had to peel him up off the bench after every timeout. He was so tired, but that was awesome, man. Good for him. I'm guessing in like 9 minutes, he's going to be named SEC Player of the Week, and he should also be named SEC Freshman of the Week. But what they might do is go Acuff Player of the Week, and then maybe they go Malik Thomas Freshman of the Week, because he had two two really good performances there. Arkansas should sweep, I would think, the awards this week with the way those guys played these two games. We'll see if that's the case. I watched a lot of SEC basketball. There were some good performances out there, but to stack two games the way that those guys did, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Here's the thing I've been noticing about Darius Acuff in the discourse. So at this point, I think most people who have a brain have determined, hey, Darius Acuff's really good, and he's one of, if not the literal best point guard in the country. You're now starting to see more national guys say that. And a lot of them are saying that and admitting, and there's a very small amount that will actually admit. Like, I think Jeff Goodman even was like, hey, I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he was this good, but holy cow, he's, this guy's on a different level. I've seen some draft guys, like NBA draft guys, which I follow a weird amount of, that are kind of digging their heels in and like keeping him at like 28 on their mock drafts and kind of being like, 6'2", who cares? Which is a little bit weird. But now, and then I think, John, you got quote tweeted this morning of, I think was it Goodman or
it was
Seth Davis?
Yeah, Seth Davis.
That was like, what is Cal talking about? Nobody's mad about Darius Acuff playing well. And he's like, he's clearly referencing all the people who put out all those lists of the top 15 freshmen and didn't have him on it. Put out all these lists of the top 10 point guards in college basketball and didn't have him on it. And Cal was just saying, these guys don't even believe that. They just hope that's what happens. And now they've turned out to be wrong. And I think that's valid. And also, it's a very valid point for Cal to be like, yeah, there's a lot of you guys that actively root against us. You do not want us to have success. And now that we are having success, you have no choice but to give us our flowers. But y'all aren't happy about it. And I think Seth Davis's quote tweet is proof of that. That it's like you will give Arkansas credit, but you are reluctant to do it, and you're not happy about it.
Yes, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, but Seth Davis is one of my worst of the weekend for that, because he's been doing this with Cal for a while, but for the last week here, it's just very disingenuous when John Calipari says something at this point, and all of a sudden, because it's just been perma-shade against Cal for years, every move he makes, everything he does, every freshman that he signs, whatever, it's archaic. He's past his prime. He's stubborn. He's this, he's that, he's washed, whatever they can say. Well, now that he's having a high level of success and he's talking his talk a little bit, for the people like Seth Davis and Goodman, who responded to that and was like, well, it's just Cal being Cal. It's very disingenuous to do a thing where you're like, I just don't understand why he's saying what he's saying. What does he mean? Shut up. Okay. Like, you guys are on his neck 100 days out of 100. Like, it's nonstop, and he hears it. Everybody knows about it. And so if he has an opportunity to pay it forward now that they're rolling a little bit, let him talk his talk, man. And you just got to sit there and eat it. But don't act like you're just shocked all of a sudden that he's doing the things that he's doing. That's wild to me.
Yeah, that's my thing too, is it's like it frustrates me, and I wanted to reply so badly, but I'm like, I don't have time to get into this social media war. But I'm like, the fact that you quote tweeted it means he's probably talking about you, which means you know exactly what he's talking about. And like, that was my thing. And I'm like,
if you feel
your ears were burning,
you have to say something. Yep.
Exactly.
Well, because what was your goal with that tweet? Other than to discredit what he's saying, other than to try and make him out to seem like he's griping over nothing. And like, disingenuous is the perfect word for it. It's like, why else would you tweet that other than to openly discredit what he's saying?
Yeah. Well, and he did the same thing, and I have to go back and look at it, but he did the same thing. He quote tweeted it with the video that I put up, which I'm fine with. Hey, keep on doing it. But the one when Cal went off on his rant about, the current state of college athletics, transfer portal, and all that.
Yeah.
And he quote tweeted something. It was just like, I appreciate Cal, and he's writing a lot of things, but here's some facts though that are actually, not completely accurate. I'm like, what's your deal? Like, what does this mean?
He misinterpreted what Cal was saying in there when he said what he said. And that got on my nerves. Yeah. Just like Jaden Quainton's pops, who quote tweeted that and was talking about, Cal and these coaches being full of it. And every example that he laid out when he was trying to roast Cal addressed in the video that he was quote tweeting. People just like to get on there and run their mouth without listening to what's actually said. It's crazy.
Hey, I will say Jaden Quaintance and James Najee almost combined for a double-double. Almost. You add those two guys, they almost added up 10 points, 10 rebounds. Two guys that I feel like we've spent a lot of time talking about and freaking out about them, what does this mean and all that. Turns out James Najee sucks. And Jaden Quaintance is still not 100%. So let's just relax.
By the way, real quick, Jaden Quaintance's pops. Did he quote tweet my tweet or just the video from it?
I think it was someone else who
good.
ripped the video or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's fine because it's just like I've just kind of thrown some fun subtle shots at so I just don't want his dad coming at me.
It didn't get much run, but then he was pissed because he didn't like the way that Quaintance was used when they got waxed by Alabama over the weekend, and so now all of his tweets are getting a bunch of burn again. And
love it.
It's one of those things.
I do too. We'll get to our best and worst of the weekend and also your chats, but also to shout out to as our first successful radio show up at 102.1 The One concluded without a single problem. They sounded great. Everything went off without a hitch.
Are you sure about that?
You're listening in?
I just got confirmation from our guy Kelly up there. That's the only reason I know. Yeah, trust me. It's like a guy Kelly up there said, "Hey, great show, great content, went great." And I'm like, as is always, like, there should be a surprise that everything went perfectly when it comes to our technology and everything. Like, it always goes well. But either way, we're really excited. Again, folks, if you're in the Southwest Missouri, North Arkansas area, 102.1 The One. Tune in every Monday at noon as we'll have some fun, unique content happening there as well. All right, let's go ahead and get to your chats. And real quick, guys, new year, new us. I have a tier system now when it comes to our super chats. Because remember, whenever we got those $500 super chats that were the red ones, from our guy Logan or Mark Arnold or whoever, we'd hit the this. It was that. All right. So, but I felt bad because I didn't want to give the super chats to people who still gave a limit. But so you get a sound or two, like our guy Dre, because he's in the orange, which we appreciate. Our guy Dre says it's a war crime that Acuff isn't projected as a top 10 at least. Well, what you get when you're in the orange, bang, bang, it's good, because that's one of my favorite things. And then if you're the tier below, which is the yellow, which we're still appreciative, you just get a. So there you go. There's your tiers. If you really want those sound effects to be associated with your chats, now you know. So I wanted to share the love. But either way, appreciate you, Dre. He says it's a warm crime that Acuff isn't projected top 10 at least, which I think everybody should agree.
There's so many people that do it. You can find a list that has him up there, but less than there are. I mean, dude, I've seen more that have him back half of the first round. I've actually seen one of my favorite draft guys is a dude named Brian J. He's just a fringe weirdo draft guy. He likes Malik Thomas more than Darius Acuff as a draft prospect, which I get that case, but I'm like, man, like, I feel like if you really watch the games, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it here.
That's what really gets me about all this, because the narrative on Acuff was he's, first, he's not tall enough, but we've seen some explosion out of him. He's played above the rim more than we thought. He's shown the ability to finish at a very high rate around the rim, despite that size. He's an AAU basketball player. Well, now he's proven that he can control a game and play with pace and set guys up and be a true floor general. Yeah, but he can't shoot. Well, he's shooting 45% from three on high volume midway through the season. You know what I mean? He's doing this against all these high majors. So I get it if somebody wants to do the thing about like, well, yeah, but because of the projectables, with his height and everything like that, maybe he's not a top 10 guy or whatever. But the folks that don't even have him in the first round or, the top 20, that stuff is crazy to me. There are still people out there who are like, no, he's a multi-year college player. And I'm just like, hell, I hope so. But he's not. So it's crazy to me.
I think back to last summer when he was, I guess it was the EYBL or whatever, and he shot like 30% from three. And it was high volume, and it was also like a lot of contested looks or whatever. But I remember in the moment, there were some people that came out of it and were like, oh, are we worried about Darius Acuff's shot? Are we sure he's a high-level shooter? Which clearly was overblown. But I think there are a lot of people, especially draft guys, who, by the way, do value your high school career a lot because that's when they start to form their opinions and all that. I think they're really holding on to that and looking at his three-point percentage now and expecting it to come down to earth, which it may to an extent, but I'm like, yeah, he might not shoot 45%, but it's like he's at the very least going to be a high 30s on contested three-point shots. I mean, how many times does he get a wide open three? Not much. Like the threes he's taking are pretty like hand in his face, off the dribble, and he's knocking down such a high percentage of them. I just don't see some of those deficiencies that other people are seeing.
Also, shout out to Dre for another super chat.
Bang! It's good.
I just love that. Dre says, will the SEC only be 500 after January? I forgot about this bit.
Dude.
That was the greatest thing ever.
They are after one weekend, so
That'll be the narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was it that was like on TV doing that, like and saying it seriously? I don't remember exactly who it was.
I'm going to say Dan Dockich because I want it to be Dan Dockich.
I think it was somebody like jokingly put it out there. Like, everybody's talking about the SEC's dominance and they're 500 after the first month. And it was a bunch of national folks that quote tweeted and just like, wow, what a stat.
When someone did the Troy Ekland thing where they see the joking tweet while they're on TV and they're like, man, everybody keeps talking about the SEC. I just saw a tweet that said they're 500 and he didn't really read it. You know what I mean? And I think that was who was it though that said it on TV?
Ooh.
He did that. We're gonna go with Dan Dockich. Someone prove me wrong if you need to, but I'm gonna accuse Dan Dockich of doing it.
Good.
By the way, sorry, Razorback fans, not any news for you, but news from a former Razorback. Marion Harris is transferring to Oklahoma officially. So
I feel like we knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. At least you don't have to play against him, so there's that. But either way,
also,
go ahead.
Well, especially since we were on the Darius Acuff topic, he has been named the SEC Freshman of the Week.
Boom.
There you go.
I don't know who got Player of the Week yet.
So Malik Thomas just gets nothing for averaging 25 on 50% shooting.
Yeah,
not good enough. Not good enough. What was it? What was it? Herb Jones getting SEC Player of the Year, averaging 10 and 6. So that's not that I remember that.
His impact went beyond the numbers.
Obviously. Also, there was something else I thought I was going to bring up there. No, it's just about Marion Harris. And Arkansas is number 15 in the AP poll officially. So
yeah, up 3 spots. I was happy to see that too, because it was Kansas and Louisville were right ahead of them, and they both lost. So we kind of knew Arkansas would probably pass them. But after that, you had to get all the way up to number 12 to find a loss. And it was North Carolina, and Arkansas passed them too. So I was happy to see that. 15 is a good spot.
Yeah, I'll take it. Hey, and who knows? Maybe if Arkansas takes care of business against Ole Miss, and because who they play on the road on Saturday again?
Auburn.
That's right. If they win both those, who knows? And some teams from maybe top 10 next week. Who knows? You can mess around with that. You can make that happen. A few more chats here too. Appreciate it. Okay. Here's a go for Sharkansas. I want to make sure I get this one right here. So you go, Sharkansas. Thank you for the super chase that initiate the rap horn. So you're good there. As well as our guy, Butcher Boy. He gets one as well. Says, appreciate y'all. And Curtis, sorry I got impatient on my hoodie. It came in just before y'all went live today.
I don't know which one you were, but if you were one of the folks that DM me, I didn't think anybody was being impatient.
No.
They're just asking,
Yeah.
Which
it's normal to ask for a thing that you ordered and paid money for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, because that's my thing. And I was just, people who DM me, I was like, the day that I got them in, which was the day before the New Year's for the hoodies, I was just like, I'm putting them in and I'm going to ship them as soon as I can. So, but thank you for your patience on it. And hopefully you enjoy it. And hopefully you wear it with pride everywhere you go, and appreciate your support.
Yes. Very cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Our guy Logan, for 8 months, been a member. Appreciate you, Logan. Says, can't wait for the Inside SEC show tonight. Yes. Tonight at 8 p.m., right?
Yeah. Tap in for that. So, Cats, this is your opportunity to have your voice heard a hell of a lot more than you do in here. But honestly, because a lot of times he'll come in, he's like, why aren't we talking basketball? Why aren't we talking basketball? And people are like, well, dude, the Pot at the Palace is every morning. And he says, yeah, but it's not live. Like he wants to interact and everything. Well, hop in at 8:00 tonight. And we're talking, this is full SEC. Like, it's not just a Razorback thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know we got folks from other fan bases that are in here. That's the reason why we were doing this. So check it out. And then I know we got a lot of just college basketball junkies that are in here. Sharkansas, Pooh Bear, I know he follows all that. A bunch of you folks, this is a good opportunity for you to be in there. Me and Andrew are really excited about this. We got a lot of fun, neat little segments planned. We got a bunch of stuff going on. We're going to have some different interviews that we're going to do every week. We got some collaboration stuff that we're working on. So we're pretty excited about what this is going to look like. But a lot of it too is just going to be you guys in there firing off your hot takes and reacting to some of the segments that we have. And it should be a good time. So come hang out with us.
I also just want the records to show, because we're going to unveil power rankings on the show tonight.
Yeah.
I don't feel that good about my power ranking. So if there's anybody that wants to comment, how that you're probably right. I'm wrong. When I texted it to Curtis, I was like, I don't love what I'm doing here, but this is what I got through one game.
Yeah. Oh, that's also because real quick, I know we have some other super chats. So I just wanted to address this real quick with Kingsley. He says member 10-year updates have to have a sound too. And you're right. You're right. Yeah. In fact, here's what we're going to do for that because it does seem pretty fitting.
Kill, celebrate, kill again, celebrate, kill again.
Because that's what you're doing every single month. You're killing and celebrating again. So there you go. You get Carter Knox talking about it. Because I'm not going to do this one for any of the good stuff other than like
it's all fake, but a little shit.
I'm not going to do that for any of the people that are actually supporting us. I'll do that for the trolls and all that stuff. So either way, but appreciate you. Appreciate Butcher Boy who also gifted an Inside Arkansas membership. So appreciate that as well. And our guy Peyton from Blue Ember. There you go. Said Curtis. Cannot wait to see you eat the glizzy cone on camera on Wednesday. He's not going to have to do it. He's a man of his word. He said 30 points and it was 29. Sorry.
I will update the bet though.
Okay.
If Arkansas sweeps this week, I'll do it the next time we're there.
Okay.
Sweep a road swing, Ole Miss and Auburn. It's done.
Okay.
Like
how about this? If they sweep this week, well, actually, maybe have to be something better. I was going to say we all three have to have an eating contest. Who eats it the fastest on the camera?
Oh God, I don't know.
That could get interesting.
I mean, if they bring it to me, I'm not just going to let it melt in my hand.
Yeah,
but,
we will declare a throat goat after that. I guess.
No.
Maybe
that is something we don't need to do on the air. Maybe that's.
I mean, if you remember what the cones look like.
Oh yeah,
it's there's no way to eat that fast without having a certain set of skills.
Yeah, we'd be memed. We would be memed completely. So, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. And also, he said stoked to be on some post game coverage for Pod at the Palace. So.
Yeah, we're excited about that too, man. I love it. It's cool because with every one of these sponsors that we have, like the relationship comes about in different ways, and I feel like there's kind of a cool story with all of them. One of my favorites is going to have to be the way that this all came about with Blue Ember. So we all remember the debacle that we had in Hot Springs. We were trying to get everything figured out from that tip-off tour and everything, and for it to go from that to evolve to what it is now is pretty sweet, man. So good stuff.
It set the season off. That was the beginning of basketball season. That's what we found. This whole thing is built on that, and it's gone pretty well.
Yeah.
Going from that to talking about housing ice cream cones in a competition on live streams at their restaurants. So yeah,
it's got the people going, Andrew.
Oh, trust me, I know. I'm not even going to look at the chats right now because it's just going to be a cesspool. But also shout out to Army Golf Guy talking about football side of things. Cool. Appreciate super chat. He says trying to be optimistic, but I'm jaded and early signs aren't great, which is
a very fair point of view right here. Honestly,
yeah, I feel you. I'm keeping the optimism up just because it is a new coaching staff and everything. And to me, like, you get the benefit of the doubt until you burn us. And that hasn't happened yet. Had they had just, if they made one, non-Memphis like splash along with the guys that they have right now, I'd probably feel entirely differently. So we'll see what happens in the next 24, 48 hours or so. But, if we get 2 or 3 days down the road here, post all these visits and, some of the main guys that you were really pumped about are off on other campuses and taking other trips or committing elsewhere, then yeah, maybe it's time to start worrying a little bit, but not right now. We're just taking note of the things that are happening.
Yeah. Well, frankly, the level of guy that they're bringing in, I think it's like 3 straight guys that they've added that had a PFF grade that was like right at 69, 70, like right at that above average rank there. If they had 3 of those that were defensive linemen, I would feel way differently. I'd be like, oh, okay, they're addressing their need. Maybe they'll have some big splashes at other spots, but they're at least getting some guys. That's the biggest concern for me, is that I don't think we're any closer to solving the secondary or D-line issues that we were a week ago, frankly.
Yeah. And I know no one cares about this but me, but I still want to know what the crap is going on with Keyshawn Blackstock if he's still able to play. Like, I don't know. I think he is, but he's still on the roster. Is he going to be an O lineman? Is he going to be a D lineman? I have no idea. But where it stands, he's still on the roster.
The SEC Player of the Week, Josh Hubbard, who had 38 in an overtime win at Texas. very inefficient in the process, but he had 38.
Yeah,
he had a Wade Taylor-esque game.
Very
Although
Wade Taylor-esque.
he was very fun to watch. That game, I was glued to the TV during that game. I did not take my eye off of it, bro. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Okay.
And he hit the, what was it, the dagger 3, and he shushed the crowd and all that. So yeah, you're gonna have people give a lot of love to that. So, okay, so a few more here before we get to our best and worst of the week. Appreciate everybody tuning in. As it's a fun time of year. I feel like now that we're done with kind of the holiday stuff, man, it's nice to just be all right, back to normal, back to getting out and not having these crazy things that are going on there too. But shout out to our guy Finch. I'll give it to you.
Bill, celebrate, kill again, celebrate, kill again.
8 months for a membership. He says, Hardwood Hogs laying down the hardwood on Tennessee was fantastic. Let's keep this up and keep watching other fan bases crash out. Shout out to the Coffee Club.
Shout out to the Coffee Club indeed. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when Arkansas wins big games. So they need to continue to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know I enjoy them whenever they win big games, and hopefully they just continue to find ways to do it. So, all right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our best and worst of the weekend, guys, because I know that there's a few things that happened that was the best. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. I'm going to be honest. I can't even wait for this anymore. This is, some people may say it's their worst. I say personally, it's my best. Welcome back to Clemson. Chad Morris officially named the offensive coordinator of the Clemson Tigers. And as I put out a tweet, and this is how I sum it up, I have no problems with Dabo. It's not that I like Dabo and I don't hate Dabo, but I'm like, imagine being a head coach where you've had a lot of success and you're on the hot seat. People are getting tired of you. You have not accepted really and been all in on the future and the NIL and all those things. You're needing to make a splash. You're needing to show everybody that you got it going on and you can succeed. And you decide the answer to all of your problems is hiring Chad Morris as your offensive coordinator. It's just I can't wait to see it. Like this is because he's was it damaged goods, as you call it, where he's basically like that was going to get fired this year. It's going to happen. And the fact that Chad Morris is literally everywhere he's gone and everything he's touched has turned to crap since literally Arkansas. This is not going to be any different. I laughed. I thought this was a joke when they said he was interested, in the fact that they actually pulled the trigger and hired him is hilarious. How
do you go from taking a year off to follow your kid around, watching him play football, to being the OC at Clemson? It's unbelievable to me. Yeah. I mean, and Dabo, that's just, is that hubris? Like, is he just so stubborn? But like, he's got to adapt, right? And I think he knows that, but he's been very resistant. He's kind of like Cal from the portal standpoint and everything, although Cal's continue to have high level success and, things have been going south there for Dabo, but like, this is your answer? I'm blown away by this, man. But hey, good on them. Go Clemson.
Listen, I also can't believe this. The only possible case to make would be to look at his past tenure as the OC at Clemson and say, well, he did a really good job there, so let's just bring him back to do the same job there. And that's the same line of thinking that we pushed back against during the Petrino saga, where people would say, well, he was a really good head coach in 2011, so let's just make him the head coach in 2026. That'll work. And it's like, that's a completely different job, completely different era of college football, completely different task. I kind of feel the same way here about Chad Morris, except like worse, honestly. Because I mean, like you said, his stops after Arkansas have all gone horribly. He's been a part of multiple fired coaching staffs, and Dabo's era at Clemson is starting to kind of, I don't want to say come apart at the seams, but it's like we're definitely on the back nine for sure of Dabo's Clemson era. And if you're trying to push back against the narrative that you're stuck in your ways, you're too tied to the past, and you're not thinking forward, you're not thinking creatively enough, I cannot believe he hired Chad Morris again. That is crazy. John, there is a listener of ours that is really mad at you about this, and he comments on every show that we have, and he's like upset at you for making fun of this. He thinks Chad Morris is a great OC hire.
Okay, well then,
is this real life?
No, truly. I don't know the dude's name. He might be a Clemson fan. I'm sure he is. But there's a guy that has been commenting on every show we've done the last week, and he's been mad at John for making fun of the Chad Morris hire.
No, join the club. But listen, if you're mad at me then for hiring Chad, I don't even have to address it because you're an idiot. But listen, it's a thing to where even like, what was it, Allen, that he took over as the high school head coach, where they hadn't lost. Yeah, they've had like 86 straight wins and then like this insane stuff, and they've lost 3 games in a year, and they're like, you're out of here, buddy. Like, you're gone. So again, this is not anything personal against Chad Morris. It's just this guy has been a disaster in epic proportions, and I don't understand why in the world anyone. And I don't care if he's had connections. Like at least with Bobby, he had some successes. Missouri State head coach and whatever. There's nothing you can point to over the past, since he left Clemson, to could be like, this is why this guy's really good. I just do not understand it. So, but hey, have fun, Clemson. Should go really well for you, as it always does. So that was my best of the weekend.
Yeah, that's I wasn't sure where you were going with that when you pulled it up, but no, that's worthy for sure, man. Mine is going to be, it's kind of a compilation of things, but it's everything that went into the downfall of Nate Ament on Saturday. Obviously Arkansas recruited him very heavily. He wound up going to Tennessee, whatever, but just several moments that were very funny. There's a video that I'm not going to play, but I do want to talk about all this for a minute because the stage was set on Friday when assistant coach Ching Coleman did his press conference, and he was asked about like, hey, Nate Ament, really talented freshman, what's the deal with the matchup on him? What's the scout, whatever. I know you recruited him, so you're familiar with him. And Ching Coleman was literally like, yes, I'm very familiar with him. Yes, I recruited him very, very hard. Yes, we wanted him to be in a Razorback uniform, but unfortunately for him, he chose to go somewhere else, and now he has to feel the pain of his decisions. That's exactly what Ching Coleman said, and I was like, wow, that's almost like that's like some bulletin board material. Like you would expect to maybe hear that from a player, but not an assistant coach. It wasn't like demeaning or anything like that, but it's like, no, we took it personally, that he didn't come here, so we really want to take it to this guy. And Arkansas did. They did a great job on him. They were physical with him, and there were times there. There's one almost like iconic photo where he hit the deck after a play, and Trevin was just kind of staring down at, just looking at him like, who's this little dude? Like they were really kind of big broing him throughout the course of the game. He goes 5'11" from 11 at the free throw line, and so he struggled up there. The crowd was in his head a little bit. Then in the press conference, a hot mic situation with Darius Acuff and particularly Trevin Brazil. Talking about the amount of free throws he shot and everything that was not safe for work, but hilarious. And it cracked me up, and, good on the Hogs for, if you're going to, talk a little bit of trash, being able to back it up, then, it's good stuff on the Razorbacks there.
Well, real quick, it's like, it's so not safe for work that we can't even play it on here.
Exactly.
It's not like, it's not made for radio. It's like, no, we can't even play it, but dude, yeah, no, I love that. And it almost reminded me, even maybe more so, of like when, what was it, Anthony Black and Devo Davis just roasting that guy against LSU when they beat him. He's like, that guy's trash. It's garbage. Like that's what it felt like. And people can get mad about it, but here's my deal. It goes back to like The Last Dance, man. Take it personally. If you got to feel yourself to be like, I want to take this guy out because of whatever reason, do it. I have no problems with it. Anybody that has a problem with it, you're just being salty. But yeah, it was fantastic.
I mean, he hit the trifecta of curse words and a hot mic in one sentence.
Literally
rattled off three, one of which we really can't say. We can't say the other two, but like we really can't say the third one.
Yeah, one of them has been fired off on here before. It starts with F, but outside of that, we
got to just leave it alone. But no, that was awesome stuff. Dude, there's been a lot of. I feel like I do a lot of Pro Hog stuff on these best of the weekends, but it was a big weekend for Pro Hogs. So Cam Little, who already broke the NFL record earlier this year and did it in preseason, has now had the second longest field goal in NFL history, which I would argue is a cooler feat because it was 67 yards out. Do a little dance for the kids there. Hey, we like that. Jake Bates also hit a game winner. Love to see that. Brandon Allen played football this weekend. We'll leave it at that. He played football. Good to see him play football. And Anthony Black, dude, every week, this is a scheduled Anthony Black segment. At some point, we're just going to stop talking about it because this is just who he is. I want to rattle off some just point totals because, it's one thing if you have a big game and, maybe you get hot for a week or whatever. We're going on like 2 months now of Anthony Black just on a bender of a lifetime. Since December 18th, his point totals, 22, 20, 19, 22, 24, 38, 27, 15, 18, 27. And this is the other night where he had 27, 10 assists and 1 turnover. I honestly, I always loved Anthony Black. I thought he was going to be a good NBA player. He is turning it out to be like a more high level scorer than I maybe ever really imagined. I mean, he's a legit 20 per game scorer now, and he's doing it efficiently, shooting it well from three, shooting threes off the dribble, something I really never thought he was going to do. And he's still an awesome defender, like a legitimate, maybe could make an all-NBA defensive team this year as well. This guy's a fringe all-star moving forward. He won't make the all-star game this year because his numbers weren't good enough or whatever, but like in years future, like he's going to be a guy that you can kind of keep in that all-star category. Like he's one of the best. I mean, might be the best pro hog we have right now, frankly, in the NBA, I should say.
Yeah, no, it's he's so much fun, man. He's definitely, and he's also, I know this is lame, but he's a hog. Like, cause he comes back, he hangs out, he makes it even better. Just real quick, just a couple of honorable mentions, maybe just one, but that hype video, I want to give a shout out to it for the Razorback basketball game, because that was something. Again, I'm not taking credit for it, but when I put out on InsideArkansas.com some of this stuff that I wanted to see, I was like, the thing I always mention is like a hype video does not need to be for players. It needs to be for the fans, cater to the fans, because that's who's watching it. That's what the hype is for. And I was like, and put out old stuff, highlights that people relate to, that love, that because it brings them back to those moments that they enjoyed, and they nailed it. Nolan Richardson narrating it, the music, the everything was perfect. So everything about the atmosphere on Saturday was great, but I just want to give a specific shout out to Jack of Hawks Plus, who actually put that together, Jack Parker, because that was awesome.
Work.
So
job.
I wanted,
that's
I wanted to do that.
work.
Dude, that's something we've been asking for. You just got to show people when you're at Bud Walton, when you attend a game at Bud Walton. I don't know how many people in there, but some people, it's their first time attending a game at Bud Walton. You need to be showing these clips that show what this building's all about, what the program's all about. You want these kids, obviously, if you take your son to a game, you're telling him, hey, yeah, this is a cool play. Oh, this is a good player that used to play here. But it'd be cool for those kids to see stuff like that, see what it really means, how much it means to everybody. And if you're a player on the team and you're seeing like Ron Brewer and Nolan Richardson, all these guys talking, how do you not get fired up? Like, how are you not playing the game with more intensity? I thought it was really well done.
Yeah. So do you guys have any more best, or do we need to move on to worst? Just want to make sure I don't skip.
I'm all good.
Oh,
okay.
No, yeah, I'm all good on best. I got worst,
okay.
though. I got plenty of worsts.
Yeah. This one I'm just going to throw in real quick because I'll save my bigger one for last because I got a second one. But this means nothing to anybody. But this was tough. Texas A&M and Georgia play each other in women's basketball. I know, but I just never seen anything like this where Texas A&M was winning this game 48-31 with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third quarter. Okay, they were up 38-31, 17 points. They did not make another shot for 19 minutes and 41 seconds and lost in overtime, 64-56. They scored 1 point. They scored no more points in the third quarter. They scored 1 point in the fourth quarter and 2 points in overtime. And it was just like, again, I know that's not, but it's something that it's almost like so bad that it's incredible, where you went 20 minutes in a game, a full half without scoring. So that was just one of the worst, but one of my small ones there.
There you go. Dang. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's rough.
I hadn't seen that. I've got two quick ones on the basketball front. One of them, it's got to be Auburn basketball. To have that play at the end of regulation that they had, where you like, how often do we see a team try to do like okay, we're going to intentionally miss the free throw and see what we can get. But to be down 4 with like a second or whatever left, and to intentionally miss the free throw and to get the buzzer beater to force overtime and then lose the game anyway, that's brutal, because that's so many people talked about that play, and it was incredible the way that it all worked out there. And it just takes all of the oomph out of what would have been like a memory that they would have been able to carry the entire season, because you turn around overtime and lose the game anyway. So that was a brutal one for them. And then the other one, any former Hog basketball players who are still in the SEC, it's ridiculous, man. Boogie Fland is just, he's struggling at Florida. But how many times this season has the ball been in Boogie's hands at the end of the game with a chance to make a game-winning play? And how many times has he made the play? I'll answer for you. 0. Like, it's absurd. And it happened against Missouri again. He had an opportunity to win that game for him. Didn't do it. What was he, like 2 of 10 from the field? He struggled in there. Tremont Mark, yes, still playing basketball at Texas, made some huge shots for Texas down the stretch. Hit a huge 3, got a steal, went coast to coast. He did like a personal 5-0 run to tie the game. And then he's up there missing free throws at the very end, where he could have put those guys away and wasn't able to do it. a couple former Hogs, man, who have had opportunities to win SEC games, to win games throughout the course of this season for their new teams, haven't been able to get it done.
Yeah, that's tough. And man, I honestly, and like genuinely, I know I'm not even being facetious when I say this. It actually doesn't please me to see this. Like when I see Boogie Flynn make these plays, or I see him struggle, like I know there are a lot of Hog fans who do like get excited and they're like, "Oh, screw Boogie," and I get it. Like I really don't have too much problem with it, but like it actually doesn't make me happy. Even Tremont Mark, dude, I've caught off the dogs at this point. Where I'm like I've been a hater. It's like at this point, I'm like, dang, I kind of like he had some, he was playing pretty well for stretches in that game, and I was like, hey, good for him. By the way, Texas has a kid, a wing that I was not familiar with, who I guess came over from Xavier. You'll probably know his name, Curtis, but he's
Dalen
good.
Swain. He's good.
Swain is really good. I was really impressed with him the other day. But anyways, my worst of the weekend. So, okay, let me set the stage. So you guys know I'm like a huge Lamar Jackson guy. Like he might be my favorite just athlete in the world outside of Razorbacks, all that. Like if I have a TV and there's every athlete in the world's playing, I get to watch one, it's probably going to be Lamar that I turn the TV on for. Well, he was in a unique spot where he's been banged up this year, hasn't gone the way the Ravens want. They were in a must-have game on Sunday night against Pittsburgh. Winner wins the division. And the winner also at this point was locked in to play the Houston Texans in the wild card round next week. So I kind of knew that going in where I'm like, okay, I really love Lamar, want Lamar to win, but like he's going to have to play Houston. And, I know our defensive line, we're going to sack him 12 times. It's going to be, we might end his life, and so I was already a little bit weird. But then as the game started playing out, John, I know you had your eye on it a little bit. Just a chaotic game. It turned into like an Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson duel. It was like 10-7 going into the fourth quarter, and it finished 26-24, just back and forth, making crazy plays, fourth downs, huge turnovers, all this great stuff. And I find myself just being like, screw it. I don't care if he's playing next week. I'm all in. I want to see Lamar will his team to victory. Sorry, I get my my stands mixed up. But then they make all these awesome plays. He has a huge fourth down conversion that converts, gets him down to the 20. You set your rookie kicker up right down the middle, 44 yards, which isn't a short field goal, but like in the NFL, come on, dude. And he misses it about as bad as you can miss a kick. And wasn't even close. I mean, they lined it up perfectly, was not even close. His defense let him down. His kicker let him down. That's 2 years in a row that Lamar's season has ended because one of his teammates decided to poop their pants in the biggest moment of the season. And it just sucks. And it sucks that, he was clearly not 100%. He was like banged up in the game. He's fighting out there for his team, and his season ends. And now the Texans are going to have to break poor Aaron Rodgers in half next week.
Man, yeah, no, it was great. And I felt bad for the kicker just because I always feel bad for kickers in that situation. I know they get paid a lot now, at least when you're in the NFL and all that. But man, I'm like, especially as a rookie, against division rivals. Yeah, that's brutal. But no, that was a great game. And I'm going to be honest, guys, this is my bigger worst of the weekend. And you guys are probably going to disagree with me, or maybe you don't, but there's going to be a lot of people that don't. This is a hot take. I understand it. I'm accepting of it and everything. I hate the fact that they stopped the game for Myles Garrett and the Bengals reactions and the coaches about when they stopped the game to acknowledge it when they're trying to get it going. They're trying to get offense going. They're trying to move a tempo, and they have to stop the game because he broke the single season sack record. I understand it's a cool feat and it's an awesome deal and everything. That's not something you stop the game for, in my opinion. You do it for career stuff, like, when Brett Favre or whoever, Peyton Manning, when they break the career record, because that could be in the beginning of the season or whatever. But when you break the sack record, odds are it's towards the end of the season. I don't like the fact that they just stopped the game and had a huge delay to celebrate him. I didn't like that. And I was on Team Bengals for this because they were really upset. They're like, dude, we're trying to get the game. We're trying to have some tempo. He sacks us. And then, we're frustrated. We got to get to the line. And suddenly we have a 10-minute delay and just sitting there watching, him getting carried off the field like Rudy. And it's just, I don't know. He seriously got carried off the field like Rudy. Again, that's just me. I understand I'm probably like, old man yelling at clouds, but I just thought that was really stupid and dumb. Career ones, big ones, I get it. That's awesome. But wait till the end of the game to celebrate them. That's my worst of the weekend.
I don't hate that take, John, in terms of the discrepancy between career and season things. Like, yeah, when Kobe passes Michael Jordan in scoring or whatever, I remember them stopping the game. And I remember when LeBron obviously passed Kareem, they stopped the game and did a whole thing. And it's a little bit easier in the NBA when it's a Tuesday night in Milwaukee and, it's game 62 of 82. It's a little bit easier to stop the game or whatever. But yeah, and like people point and say, well, the game had no stakes. The Bengals season's over, Browns season's over. That makes it even stupider to be celebrating an individual performance. Now, no shame to Myles Garrett. The dude's a beast. He's probably the best football player on the planet right now, but it's like, it has some shame. You're on a 4-12 team. Why are you playing patty cake in the middle of the game? I get it. You know, it's a great achievement, and I don't want to take away from it. Like 22 sacks, it's a lot of sacks, but yeah, I actually don't hate that take, John.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. It just really bothered me. So, anyways, let's see. Guess we get to some chat. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got a few chats here, folks. Appreciate you all tuning in with us. And as a reminder, again, any transfer portal pops, we're going to be going live for. I'm not going to say all of them because we use discretion. Just be on the lookout. But we're going to have content of it, no matter if it's Inside Arkansas Recruiting with Dudley or if we go live. But we have that SEC basketball, Inside SEC Basketball live tonight with Curtis and Andrew at 8 p.m. right here on Inside Arkansas. So be sure to subscribe, be in for that. We got a lot of great things going on. So. And don't forget Blue Ember Smokehouse and Rogers there on Wednesday for the live show. Sharkansas, appreciate you, which we're going to be doing something with Sharkansas here very soon. Appreciate Super Chat. Says Curtis played with Torvik Teamcast 13-5 with one home loss, which was Vandy, 5 seed. Our metrics are cooked.
Dude, it's crazy, man. That was one of the things I talked about on the pod this morning. Just trying to gain an understanding for all this. And there's like every single year, there are the computer trickers. Like you guys remember, Muss even brought it up, that LSU team. And it was like, okay, they had a pretty good non-conference, but they didn't really play anybody. And then there was like no way to drop them below 15, like in the net or in any of these metrics. Arkansas wins like 12 SEC games in a row. They beat them 3 times, still can't pass them. And it's just like, how are these dudes so locked in? And then there's also the opposite of that, where it's like, no matter what a team does, they can't crack the code. And the way that Arkansas is impacted from beating Winthrop and Samford is still unbelievable to me. Like based on how they're treated by the metrics, you would think they lost both of those games. Like it's unbelievable. Like you won, okay, and that was like the second week of the season or something. But I've done some of that too, where I've gone through and done the tourney cast and everything, and I took my predictions, which I had Arkansas. I had them 13-5 SEC, and I picked one home loss. The one that I picked was Tennessee for that exercise. And it was the same thing. They were like the last 5 seed in there. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that you can go through your non-conference and pick up wins like Texas Tech and Louisville, win 13 SEC games, and not really have any bad losses there on the rest. And it's a 5? Like, how good are these other leagues this year? It's kind of weird. And I 100% understand the people who will comment and be like, why are you worried about it? It's the beginning of January. Let it play out. Let it play out, yes, but if you look at what Arkansas's resume is and you look at their resume metrics and then you look at the net and you look at some of the predictives, it ain't matching up. And these are the things the committee uses to seed you in the tournament. So if this doesn't change and we get to the tournament and Arkansas's done what we're talking about here and they're a damn 6 seed, don't come yelling at me about it because we've been talking about it every day. It's just weird. That's all.
100%. And Curtis, I've for years been kind of on that side of, well, when you look up in March, it kind of plays itself out or whatever.
Sure.
But that's all we've wanted is it is literally playing out in front of our eyes. Like Arkansas just played Saturday against Tennessee, picked up an awesome 11-point win, and they didn't really get the shine from it.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of the world. I'm sure it'll change but it's like, that's what's baffling me is that it is playing out. Like the season is happening. We are over halfway through and there's still this discrepancy here. And it is kind of crazy, man. I was looking at it like LSU's like 32 in net. Like they haven't played anybody and they're 0-1 in SEC play, obviously. And like they actually suck at basketball and they're like behind Arkansas in the net. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And right above them, it's like Tennessee, who you just beat, Florida, who's got 5 losses and no good wins, Louisville, who you beat that has more losses than you. It's, there's just some interesting things going on there. That's all.
I just want to hear, we need Muss's take on the net rankings again, even though he's not the coach here, but those were always my favorite of just like, it was almost just raw meat with a dog. Just like, hey coach, you're here in the net ranking. This is where you're at. What do you think? And he would just go off about it. Like just so mad.
But the one thing I loved about Muss more than anything else is that he would, or a lot of times he would have one of his assistants reach out to me, and I'm sure he did it with other folks in the media, and was like, hey, ask this question. Like, we'd be in the Zoom waiting for the press conference to start, and it'd be like, hey, might be a good idea to ask Muss about this. I remember because he used to get so pissed off about the Nick Smith questions, when he was doing the knee management and everything. And I got a text that was literally, it was the Missouri game where the officials had to do the apology or whatever. And that game was winding down. And I got a text from somebody on the bench. It was like, hey, ask Muss about Nick Smith after the game. And they took that loss. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And I didn't, but I asked it because it was like a short turnaround or whatever. So I asked him the next day, but it was crazy stuff, man. Dude, you love talking about it.
I know. I miss those days. Real quick, just a little update for football. This comes from Trey Biddy. Kevin Otis has now hit the transfer portal. So, defensive lineman. So, guys, according to, again, my very accurate portal tracker, you have 7 defensive linemen on the roster, and one of those is Keyshawn Blackstock. I'm including him in there. You have 7. Not DNs, not D tackles, total defensive linemen. 7.
Okie in there too? We count him?
Yeah, I'm counting Okie until we know one way or the other.
Vaughn is going to go to the coaching staff and be like, give me $1 million or I'm gone. He's going to be like, I mean, this is tough, dude. And listen, Kevin Otis didn't play a ton. He was a freshman this past year. It's not a huge deal, but it's like, man, there's just no bodies there.
Yeah. As I said, it's going to be Quincy Rhodes, and he's just going to be hanging out and being solo. Isn't it funny that
eat up 4 blocks for us, buddy?
Yeah. Isn't it funny that the 2 guys that were at the press conference that were like, hey, we're coming back, are the 2 guys that are like by themselves at their position group now? Like, just literally they're the only
That was their
ones.
condition. He was like, you cannot have any other players in my position. Or that's how I'll come back.
Yeah, apparently so. Okay, we'll do some rapid fire here ones before we get out of here. Shout out to Football. Says, hello from Florida, WPS.
Hey.
What's up?
Heck yeah.
We love the Florida audience. We're all over the world, but Florida is always great. Kings, I saw this. It says, I need an absolute banger today, boys. Everything just flipped upside down over here. Well, hopefully everything's okay, man. Hate to hear that.
Yeah, man, for sure. You're doing all right.
I know he's been working his way back with that leg for a while now, and so we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers for sure, man. But that sucks to hear.
Yeah, hopefully it all is good to go. Let's see. Nick Ryan says, don't listen to anything Andrew or Curtis says about special teams. LOL.
At first I was like, what do we say about? But then I realized who it was. I'll never forget the OG days with Nick when we had the call in things, and he was just on Scott Fountain's neck relentlessly.
Hey, Scott Fountain would have kept Scott Starzik. I'll just say that.
That's right.
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, he would have. Yeah, because I was the same way because I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. Yep, that's why it is. See, Addison says, was Starzik not balls deep? Yeah, shout out to Chad Lunsford, man. This guy.
What a quote. What a like mantra.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm all about, I get people get tired of the hashtags and everything. It's like, oh, it's lame. But it's like, hey, if you're going to do it like that, where you're just like, I'm going to make this a double entendre where it can mean a bunch of things. And I'm just going to roll with it and get everybody retweeting me because of how funny it sounds. So I'm like, I respect it. It's pretty smart stuff. So yeah. I guess, but no, to answer your question, I guess he wasn't balls deep.
Lunsford really might be my favorite coach on the staff.
He's fun, man. He's got energy and he's excited about it. I like this also from Madison, where he says we could give him the town of Van Buren as part of the NIL deal.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry. What are they? The Pointers? Sorry, Pointers. You're owned by Michael Van Buren now. So let's see. Cats comes in here and says Mark Pope is basically a sober Billy Gillespie at this point.
I just thought that was funny. I give credit where it's due,
Yeah.
That's pretty great. James also said, y'all see Goodman making fun of the hog call. What a douchebag. I did not see this.
When did he do this? He said it's one of the stupidest traditions in college basketball.
He did this bit. It was really strange because I listened to the whole show yesterday, and he's like super complimentary of Arkansas, and he was, doing a thing with Darius Acuff where he was like, man, like he's better than I thought he was going to be. He's awesome. Like he is the catalyst for why Arkansas is a Final Four contender. It's all this stuff. He was wearing the Razorback hat. And I was like, dang, Goodman, that's awesome. And then he was just like, but I just got to say, well, they've got like a new host over there, and he made the dude call the Hogs. Now he said, call the Pigs. He didn't know any better. Goodman didn't say it, but this dude did it. He did it was decent enough, but then what did he say? He said like, woo piggies or something. Anyway, he did it on camera. I'll give him credit for trying. And then Goodman was like, I just want to make it clear, Razorback fans, I love you, but that's the stupidest tradition or whatever. So he was like, I don't know. It was almost like a setup to get everybody like, oh, wow, Goodman. Oh, no, we still hate you kind of deal.
Well, he's been wearing the hat to try and like, push back against the narrative that he hates Arkansas, which like, listen, we have a lot of evidence on the internet over like 20 years of you being very anti-Arkansas, but I think he's trying to kind of play into that and joke back a little bit. But yeah, it's like one step forward, two steps back with Goodman. We can't even have a good moment.
My favorite thing about it was one of the other guys that was on the show was like, who sent you? Like, nobody sent you that hat. Nobody over there sent you that hat. Like, did you just go buy it at the store?
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, like, thinking too, it's like if that, first off, it's not just a basketball tradition, it's a tradition in general. And second off, it's like you could tell, it's like I was gonna say, well, have you not been to like A&M and seeing their things? But I'm like, well, they actually aren't relevant in basketball, really. So he probably hasn't seen what they do. But yeah, glad at least he's staying on brand.
What did he say was the most annoying? I think he says the most annoying thing, and maybe it is though. Yeah, but that's the point. You know what I mean? Like if you're in there with 19,000, and you're an opposing team or an opposing fan, that's going on. Like if the shoe was on the other foot, I would probably be like, what the hell? Well, that's why it's endearing to us. So I don't know.
I go back to the pro wrestling rules of if you have a sold out crowd, 20,000 people, and they are all in unison chanting something, it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like we do a lot of stupid stuff, but it's like if you have 20,000 people all on the same page and we're all cheering the same thing, I should clarify. There are a few things that groups of people can get together and chant that are bad. But like in those moments in a sporting event, it's like, it's hard to be like, oh yeah, this is stupid. Oh yeah, this sucks. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. It's like, listen, I'm a huge fan of the hot call, but I'm also very much willing to admit that if you're not doing it with a group of people, it's weird. Like when I was on that Vice documentary and they were like, hey, I need you to call the Hogs. I'm like, this is weird. It was so uncomfortable. I was like, I hate doing this by myself. It was terrible. So yeah, that is one thing. But yeah, when it's a group of people, it makes it special. All right. So and before we get out of here, we got to, of course, do this. But from Lady Michelle, she says, why do big things need to happen for the ice cream cone? I love ice cream. Okay, then Michelle, you can get on the live stream and you can house the ice cream cone from Blue Ember on Wednesday.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We'll get you an ice cream cone. I tell you what, you come out to Blue Ember on Wednesday, bring Wes, and we will get you an ice cream cone. You stay far away from camera.
He's probably a smart man. Almost like you know the audience and you know what that would turn into. So, oh man. Well, anyways, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out of here for today?
Well, good show today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The same old stuff, right? Like if you're not subscribed to the channel, but you listen to the show, why aren't you subscribed to the channel? And then make sure you turn those notifications on for obvious reasons with everything that's going on with this portal and stuff. And make sure that you join us at 8 o'clock tonight. Me and Andrew are really excited about this Inside SEC basketball show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got some different stuff planned for it. And hey, it's an opportunity for you. And yes, if you're in there asking Razorback questions, of course, we're going to talk about Razorback basketball, but the league as a whole. And you can get in there and talk trash with other fan bases. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to the banter. And this thing's going to continue to grow every week. But we're excited about the debut tonight. Should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Got a lot of takes to get off my chest. Got a lot of feathers to ruffle. But I really am excited. And I also maybe I'll save this spiel for later. But really, we are going to talk about Razorbacks, like you said. But it's like we're not going to be the Razorback fanboys who can't see past our love for the Hog or anything. Like we're going to talk about the whole league. We're going to talk about it objectively. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that the next time y'all see me is 8 p.m. I really don't want to see y'all before 8 p.m. That means there's another 67 PFF grade tight end that I have to talk about. And I don't want to do that. I want to see you at 8 p.m. Will you talk some hoops?
Well, don't worry. I kind of hope I do see you because the more and quicker that we get through this transfer portal and adding players, the less that we're just going to have to sit here being on nails of just like, okay, when's this going to happen? It's like, hey, let's start getting this going. But no, it's going to be great tonight. So be sure to come and check out the Inside SEC Basketball live stream with Curtis and Andrew debuting tonight right here on Inside Arkansas. Be sure to check out all of our great content. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Appreciate 102.1 The One for our radio show debut. And again, every Monday starting at 12, we're going to be up there each and every Monday. So be sure to tune into that. And don't forget to come by Blue Ember Smokehouse on Wednesday. We'll be there live with Inside Arkansas Live from 12 to 2. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you later today, afternoon, evening, tonight, whenever it may be. But we're going to